I've always wondered who advises Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. The reason is, some of the political moves he has made in recent months don't make sense to me. They don't make sense to me because somebody vying for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya does not make such moves. For instance, somebody vying for the presidency in any country, not only in Kenya, does not swim against the tide. The best political play is to ride with the waves and then try and direct them in your direction. In other words, the deputy president has been very busy, very strongly against a referendum. Politically speaking, being against a referendum is trying to ride against the tide. Have you ever been on holiday in Mombasa? Yeah, on our very beautiful beaches. And then you have seen a huge wave of water coming in, and then you have tried to stop it. This is precisely what DP William Ruto has been doing in opposing a referendum. You want to be president of the country, therefore you need as many votes as you can get from the vast majority of Kenyans to make it into State House. And so you have decided to start your campaign early. Yeah, you don't start the campaign by opposing what the vast majority of Kenyans want. That does not make any political sense to me. Now, let us not be naive in our political analysis, because what some Kenyans do, they wait for a particular politician from a particular part of the country to make a statement, and then they assume the whole electorate is behind that statement. Nothing like that happens. So a few politicians at the coast stand up and say they're standing with DP William Ruto. They're standing with him for 2022. They will fully support him for the presidency. And then you start making your calculations. You say that a very big chunk of the cost is for DP William Ruto. Or you say the cost is 50-50 for DP William Ruto. Now I hear this kind of analysis all the time. And when some Kenyans are talking like this, they believe they are analyzing Kenyan politics very deeply and very accurately. Gosh. And then a few politicians, from Central Province, a handful of them, say they're supporting DP William Ruto. And so the analysis goes, game shot. It's finished. William Ruto will definitely be the president in 2022. He'll win by a landslide. He has 50% of coast, and Central Province is fully backing him. And because these huge chunks of the country support DP William Ruto, it therefore makes sense to say the people, the numbers, as far as those who want to support the referendum, are small. DP William Ruto has the numbers as far as opposing any referendum happening in Kenya. Ruto has most of the country, and Raila Odinga, who is for the referendum, in fact is the main face behind the referendum, only seems to have Nyanza. Therefore, there will be no referendum. Ruto is going to win in 2022. And he'll win when there has been no referendum and no change to the constitution. And therefore, he'll be as powerful as President Uhuru Kenyatta is right now. Well, I have one word for that kind of analysis. And I'll quote my political lecturer. Rubbish. Anyway, let me be brutally honest with you. The vast majority of Kenyans, landslide in fact, are for a referendum. And different parts of the country are supporting the referendum for different reasons. Now let's start with the very important Central Province vote, House of Mumbi vote. Now if you're on the ground like I am, very frequently, you will know that voters in Central Province are very wary, they're very worried about a DP William Ruto presidency. And with good reason. The issues of the Rift Valley, post-2007 clashes, have never been resolved. And the big fear is that under William Ruto presidency, it will become even more difficult for the House of Mumbi, the unfortunate members of the House of Mumbi who've lost their land, lost their property in the Rift Valley. it'll be even more difficult for them to recover. It'll be more difficult for them to do business in the Rift Valley. And so, the House of Mumbi has no option but to strongly support a referendum. Because only a referendum can reduce the powers of the presidency or even abolish the presidency altogether. Now, you can say a lot of things about our brothers and sisters from Central Province, but one thing we all have to confess and admit is that they will never vote in a way that does not make sense to them. And the truth, the bitter truth, is that Central Province, and I mean Central Province voters, not the handful of politicians, Central Province voters have no option, but to fully support and ensure that a referendum happens before 2022. Now, the rest of Kenyans, as I've said, have their various reasons. But let me just mention one main reason why most of Kenya must go for a referendum. Really, most of Kenya has no option but to go for a referendum. The issue people on the ground have, right from Busia to the coast to northeastern province to Nyanza, everywhere you go, and I go to a lot of places, the issue people have is over the domination of the presidency by only two communities. A Ruto presidency will ensure continuity of that particular system because the deputy president belongs to one of those two communities that have dominated the presidency since independence. The only solution to this problem, as most Kenyans see it, is to abolish the presidency altogether and therefore end this domination. Abolish the presidency, give the counties more power, by ensuring that finances get to them as per the constitution. And then as far as national politics is concerned, vest the powers, the vast, huge powers of the presidency currently, in parliament. This will neatly solve quite a number of problems. Without a central authority, a presidency, to hold back funds to the county, funds will flow freely to the counties. Number two, will solve the problem of having tensions in the country and literally shutting down the country every time we go into a general election where we have to elect a president. We'll be able to have quiet elections where people don't have to worry about tensions after people vote. In fact, there's some Kenyans who do not see any country left, any country called Kenya left, if there's no referendum. They fear that if there's no referendum to change the way we are governed, to change our politics altogether, then 2022 will just be a repeat of 2017 and 2013 and, God forbid, 2007. Now, let's be very clear of one thing. The only reason why Deputy President William Samoei Ruto does not support the referendum is because he wants to win the presidency in 2022. And he wants to win a presidency that has the full powers and privileges and honor and everything that the current president Uhuru has. The deal was that he supported President Uhuru Kenyatta. Indeed, Uhuru would never have been president without the backing and support of DP William Ruto. And therefore it is only logical that the man, the kingmaker, DP William Ruto, enjoys a powerful presidency just as Uhuru has enjoyed one over the last, it'll be 10 years by 2022. Anything to interrupt that, or anything that will make that not possible will never be supported by DP William Ruto. In other words, our deputy president does not want a referendum for purely selfish reasons. Now finally, somebody in DP William Ruto's camp has seen the political light. And that is why the deputy president shocked everybody when recently came out and said, actually he supports a referendum. However, he said he does not support a referendum that creates new posts. He supports a referendum that improves the lives of Kenyans. Now, as far as political strategy goes, that is a statement that Ruto should have made many months ago, because it would have neatly diverted attention away from him and his selfish need that the status quo remains. His selfish reasons as to why he does not want a referendum to happen in Kenya, not before he takes over the presidency. And so, in my view, it is a good strategy, but it is too late. Now, of course, the whole crafty strategy behind DP William Ruto's statement is that he wants a referendum that steers clear of abolishing the presidency. That is really what it is. And already, DP William Ruto's strategy is coming out very clearly for any person observant to see. Because one of his staunchest supporters, Gatundu South legislator, Moses Kuria, has come out with the idea that, we should save money, and therefore this referendum should take place with the election in 2022. Now, what that means is that when we go into this referendum, we'll still be voting for president. In other words, what the Ruto camp is saying, you have as many referendums as you want, and discuss everything you want in that referendum, except the presidency. When the deputy president talks about people creating posts, creating the post of prime minister is also creating extra posts. Creating the post of deputy prime minister is also creating extra posts. If I can summarize it very accurately, the whole referendum issue is all about retaining the presidency for Ruto to take over in 2022. That is really what it's all about when it comes to the camp opposing what the vast majority of Kenyans want, which is change. Now, what the deputy president's camp has not realized yet is a very simple fact. And that fact is, all the money in the world, all the best political strategy in the world, all the best of anything you can come up with, cannot stop an idea whose time has come. Cannot stop the vast majority of Kenyans from having their way. And the vast majority of Kenyans want a referendum to correct the political mess in the country currently. Anybody who understands this will be able to see through all the multitudes of statements and controversies that are linked to this call for a referendum with others opposing it. Until next time, this is Kshs, Kumekucha.